Okay, it's that time of year, or really, it's just a new year. So let's do a 2025 revamp on this classic tutorial. Here is how you can self publish your book with Amazon KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, in 2025. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Mary Kate, MK Williams. I'm an author and I love sharing my insights about all things books and publishing with you. Before I get into the details of today's topic, don't forget to hit subscribe. You'll be notified when I put out new videos every week about publishing, making a career being an author, and not being a mompreneur. So today I'm going to be uploading a second edition of one of my books. So you're going to see me upload a brand new ebook, a brand new print book, and I'm going to show you how to combine it with an earlier edition so all the reviews port over. Now, before you start to upload anything into Amazon, here's what you're going to need for this tutorial. You need a finished, final, the most final, stamped final interior file. Okay. So for the ebook, that's your EPUB file. Or for the print book, that's going to be a PDF. You're going to need your cover file. Again, for ebook, you're going to need a JPEG or another image file. And for the print, you're going to need a PDF cover file with the full wrap. You need to know your ISBN, your book description. You need to have your plan for your keywords and your categories, your plan for pricing, as well as your planned launch date. Okay, you should know all of that before you get started. A quick note before we dive in with the tutorial. What I recommend that you do is have this up on one screen and have your actual KDP instance pulled up on another screen if you have two monitors. That way you can follow along with what I'm doing exactly. You can pause this video, rewind, slow it down, speed it up as many times as you need. Also, I'm going to be uploading to Ingram Spark on the same exact day. What I highly recommend is if you're planning to use both Amazon KDP and Ingram Spark, or Amazon KDP and Draft to Digital, or really multiples of any of these, I want to make sure that you are doing it on the same day. If you don't have time to do that all today, come back later. Okay, let's dive in. Today is the day, folks. We are uploading a book. Congratulations. If you are starting this tutorial because you are about to upload your first, your second, your third book to Amazon KDP, congratulations. This is always an exciting moment. So because I've been with KDP forever, I always have these notices at the top. They just recently changed their print book rates. They're doing prizes. You can just scroll past that. For the purpose of this, we're going to start here where it says create, manage, publish. Now, before we actually do dive in, I do want to show you, I have pulled up on my other screen everything I need, all the documents I need clearly labeled. What's the print interior? What's for KDP? What's going to be for Ingram Spark? I have all those things. I also have my second editions checklist pulled up on my other screen. This is going to be a third edition for this book I'm doing. I quite literally made this checklist for you guys as a means to help myself. I made a checklist for myself. Here's everything I have to do. And I was like, oh, other people might like this. So if you are doing a second or third edition, follow along through the whole tutorial. I will give that. But if you are doing your very first book, just follow the first part. Uploading a second edition is exactly like uploading a first edition. You upload and create a new book. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. So I'm going to hit this big yellow create button. Okay. I could click down here where it says create a book, but I'm going to click the big yellow create button. Okay. And I'm going to start with the ebook and then I'm going to add the print books. All right. Here we are. Very first question, primary language is English. For you, if it is not English, go ahead and click the drop down and select that, but mine is always English, so I am not going to worry about that. To make sure, I always copy and paste my book title. I do that for a few reasons, mainly because you're excited. You are finally getting to upload this book and you know what's going to happen. Those fingers are going to get a little slippery on the keyboard. And so I always copy and paste my title in. I know that it is the correct spelling. I know everything is the way that I want it to be, and I'm going to hit copy paste. I've worked with authors in the past where they were so excited and their book title was spelled correctly, but their subtitle had a typo in it, and they hit publish and they did all the things. And then they had to go to KDP support and say, please, can you change this for me? And they agreed, but they had to do a lot of groveling first. So I don't want you to have to do that. So this book title, think of it like your name on your birth certificate. It is very difficult to change the name on your birth certificate after it is issued. Okay. So really just double, triple check everything is spelled correctly. There's no typos. Okay. Okay, next question is series. Now, this book is part of a series because it's a second edition. I'm not going to mess with the series right now. Now, if your book is a first in series, you can add the series details here. You can add your series details later. I do have videos that show you how to do that. Okay, so if for some reason you're so excited, you don't enter the series detail right now, or maybe this is a book you wrote, and then a year from now you're like, you know what? I think this is a series. You can add that later. Okay, this is not a till death do you part moment. You can add the series details here. You can add it in another location. I am not going to touch that right now because when I link everything later, it is going to show through. So I'm not going to touch that right now. So if you need to add to series, you could click add to series. It's saving everything. I love that it saved it. New series, existing series. But I'm not going to touch that right now because that is not relevant for this book. Okay. It's very self-explanatory when you go through it. So I'm not going to dive in here. Okay, next is the edition number. This is a new edition for me. If this is the first edition of your book, the first time you've uploaded it, do not fill this out. By filling out edition 1, it implies that you're planning to do multiple editions. So if this is a fiction book, if this is, even a nonfiction book, but you don't plan on doing multiple editions, don't fill this out. I am filling it out because this is the third edition of my book. Okay. All right. Now you notice when I did this, for those of you doing multiple editions, second edition, third edition, I'm not adding third edition into the subtitle. I'm not. My title is exactly the same between editions. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to enter going to go back down. We did edition number. Okay. So I wrote in my name. Again, if you need to add additional contributors, co-authors, somebody did the forward on the book, anything like that, that's where you would add that here. I do not have that here. But again, illustrators, anything else that you want to include, you can. This is where you would include it. I'm not going to be doing that today, but that's where you would do that. Okay, description. Again, we should be copy and pasting. We should not be doing this on the fly. It should all be smooth, proofread. Everything's beautiful. Yeah. So that's literally what I'm going to be doing right now. I'm going to copy and paste my description. Okay. Okay. There we go. Love it. All right. So now I am going to get to publishing rights. I own the copyright and I hold the necessary publishing rights, or this is a public domain work. So in this case, I own the copyright. I hold the necessary publishing rights. It is my book. I wrote it with my fingertips on the keyboard, with my eyeballs, with my brain. It is my book. Okay. Primary audience, sexually explicit images or title. No, that is not the case for me in this book. This is a nonfiction book on how to self-publish. There is nothing scandalous in here. Reading age. I am not going to fill this out. This is optional. I think this is best filled out when you have a children's book, a young adult book, where you are saying, hey, this is the age range I intend for this. This is a nonfiction guidebook. It kind of is self-explanatory that it's for grown-ups who have a business and are self-publishing, but I don't want to limit it to adult content necessarily and imply that it is sexually explicit. So I am not going to fill this out. If your book is intended for children, fill this out, put in the age range of, yes, this is great for 7 to 9-year-olds. This is great for kids under the age of 5. This is great for teen readers. Definitely fill that out because the ranges in juvenile fiction and nonfiction are very specific to the reading levels. But if you have a grown-up book, you don't I don't think you need to fill that out, in my opinion, unless it is sexually explicit, in which case you're saying the minimum age is 18, and going from there. Okay. Primary marketplace. So this is where you're saying, I'm expecting most of my sales to come from Amazon.com. I'm a US-based author. The majority of my audience is based in the US. The majority of the sales I get are expected to be in the US, Amazon.com. If you are based in the UK, you're probably going to pick Amazon.co.uk. If you're based in Canada, you're probably going to pick Amazon.ca. So you have multiples that you can select. Okay. All right, categories. So this is where I have all my trusty things pulled up, and I'm going to pull it over onto the other because I have done this before. Again, this is a third edition actually of this book. So I already know what my categories are. So I have that pulled up now on my other screen so I can pick the exact ones. So you're going to choose your categories. Okay. So this is for Kindle books. Okay, so I need to go down to reference. And it's really nice because it's letting me start to really drill down. And that is what I want. Okay. So I'm going to pick general. I'm going to pick okay, another one. So I'm pretty much going to go down to the same route there. Okay, publishing and books. And I'm going to pick authorship and business aspects. So as I was checking those, these were filling out down here. So I can see the exact string of the keyword as it's going to show up on the book page. And those are the categories that I am saying best fit this book. Okay. This is a self-publishing guidebook. It fits under writing, research, and publishing guides, authorship, and business aspects. Don't try to get clever and smart. Like if your book is a small town cowboy romance, don't put in that it's sci-fi romance. Don't put in that it's some other niche that it isn't. Amazon does add your book to additional categories if it senses that it belongs there, but don't try to trick the system because then what will happen is you're going to be shown to readers who maybe don't want your book and they're going to buy it and maybe they don't like it and then you get bad reviews. So definitely make sure that you are being honest and clear in your categories. You do get to pick only 3. Now, there used to be a secret way to add up to 10 that is not available anymore. Okay, keywords. All right, same thing. I already know what my keywords are going to be, so I'm going to go ahead and type them in. There's a lot of products and services out there. I actually have a video on optimizing your keywords. So if you want to check that out, please do that. But by the time you are uploading here, you should already know what they're going to be. This is not the time to then stop and think what it would be. Okay. All of those are filled in. I could be optimizing these more frequently than I am. I have a lot of books, so I could be optimizing them all the time and then never write another book. There we are. Okay, next is the pre-order. So in this case, for the ebook, you can set a pre-order date. Because again, I'm releasing a new edition of a book that already exists. I am going to say I'm ready to release it. All right, let's just put this thing live. But most of you may be looking to do a pre-order. Okay, and if that's the case, you are saying, I'm uploading this now. You can list it for sale, but you're not going to release the book until whatever date I pick here. Okay. You can set it as a week. You can set it as a day. Now I'm recording this on the 19th of June. Okay. So as you see, the first date I can set it as live is the 23rd because that gets us through the 72-hour approval period for this to go live. Something really important here. I emphasize this as many places as I can. If you have only a draft of your book to upload, stop what you're doing. Exit out. Do not set a pre-order date for a month, 2 months in advance, thinking, well, I'll definitely get all my edits back by then. And I just want to start collecting some pre-orders. I have seen too many authors in my decade of self-publishing have to push back their pre-order date, have to cancel their pre-order, and lose all of their sales when they do that. Okay. Amazon will send you emails reminding you, hey, by the way, this is the last day you can upload the final file. Don't touch it after this date. Otherwise, we're going to cancel your pre-order. And then there are still TikToks of authors crying because they had their pre-order canceled because they uploaded the final draft after that date. Don't set the pre-order unless you have the final files. Once you set the pre-order date, that is the date that it goes live to everybody. So you should already know what that is before you go ahead. For the ebook pre-order, it is super clear cut here in Amazon KDP how to set that date. Other platforms do not make it as clear cut as to what date the book is going live, but this is saying, yes, the release date will be June 30th. The release date will be July 4th. Don't release a book on July 4th. Nobody's going to be paying attention. Any of those things. They make it super, super clear. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back and say, nope, I want to release my book right now because that is what I am doing for this. Okay. And then at the bottom, you're going to click save and continue. Okay. So I filled in the metadata for the book and now I need to actually upload the content. So exciting. Okay. My self-publishing book. Look at that. Self-publishing for the first time author, ebook, EPUB, super clear, super clear what file I am picking here. Now I did format with Atticus, so let's see if it is good to go on the first try. Oh my gosh, look at that. Successfully saved the file. Okay. All right, so now the ebook cover. You can use the KDP cover creator. I do not recommend it. In my experience, they have not been good looking. If you want your book to look self-published and DIY, sure, use the cover creator. I worked with 100 Covers to redo the covers for this entire series. I thought it was time for doing a new edition. Let's really give these books a glow up. And so I am going to select my beautiful new cover for this book and go there. Okay. Beautiful. Look, first time, no issues. That's what we like, folks. Okay. Okay, so the next question is asking me about AI generated content. So it seems like they're just collecting information right now. They want to understand the use of AI. I have not used AI in creating this book. I have not used AI in editing this book. When I was working with 100 Covers in their questionnaire for design, they said, "Are you okay with us using AI?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Okay, fine. We won't use any AI in making your cover." So I can honestly say no. There was no AI generated content with this book. If you have used AI in the creation of your book, content generation, editing, cover design, anything, you need to click yes. Okay. It seems like right now they are just collecting this information. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but you have to be honest. Okay. We're waiting for the online previewer to launch. So this is a good time for me to pull up my important book information. I have a spreadsheet that has all the information about my books. Um, okay. Well done. Your manuscript does not have any spelling errors or image issues. That makes me feel good. Okay, so I'm going to launch the previewer so I can look. Now, I have already previewed this EPUB file in Atticus, okay? I already did all the things I'm supposed to do, but you know what? I'm going to look at it again because I'm the publisher. It is my name on the book. I want to make sure that it looks correct. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to double check. Yep, we have the correct ISBN number. We've got all those goodies. Oh, look at my beautiful, beautiful other books. Look at that lovely linked ebook table of contents. Okay. So now I am actually going to go scroll through and make sure all of this looks correct. Now I can change this device preview. I can say, okay, I would like look at a smartphone. I want to look at it as the Kindle e-reader, whatever you would like. I want to look at it portrait instead of landscape. So you can go through and look at everything. And so I'm going to do that right now and make sure everything looks good and I like it. So I'm at the end of the book. I liked how it all looked. So now I'm going to click back. Don't exit out of this. This is all within the same emulator. So I'm going to click back. Okay. And now it takes me back to my Kindle ebook content page. Everything's already been uploaded. I've already looked at the previewer. So now I am going to fill in my ISBN. If you've seen anything on my channel, you know I advocate for always owning your ISBNs. I strongly believe that authors should do that. You should have control over it. But I understand that some people can't do that. They can't afford that, and that is fine if that is your situation. Obviously, if you're going to release a second or third edition, that is actually a good time to switch over from a free Amazon ISBN to one that you own. So I always suggest that people do that. Now, before I put in my publisher information, I am going over to Bowker, which is where I purchase my ISBNs from. Under my profile data, that's where it actually says KDP customers. This is what you need to put for your publisher. I copy and paste this, okay? Because if you put this in incorrectly, it is going to say, nope, that's not right. If there's an extra space at the front, if there's an extra space at the back, it is going to say, this is not accurate and you can't publish your book and you're going to drive yourself crazy. Copy and paste it from Bowker. Okay. This is actually a new question that I haven't seen since the last time I uploaded, asking about if all of the images have alternate descriptions. This book doesn't have any images. Or I think there's like one image on the title page, but it literally just says the title stylized. So I don't remember if I put the alt text in there. I believe I did. So I'm just going to say some information and images. Yeah, have that. Yeah. So if your book doesn't have any images, I would say None of the informative images include text because you don't have any images. So this is interesting. This is the first time I've seen this. But yes, obviously, if you do have images, go back in and add the alt text to them for people who need to have that alt text. Okay, now we're on to ebook pricing. This is exciting. Okay, KDP Select enrollment. I will not be enrolling in KDP Select. I have my books out wide. I have my ebooks wide. I'm a wide author. I like doing that. If you have done your research on KDP Select and Kindle Unlimited, and you know that your genre tends to perform well in KU, that there are readers for your genre who subscribe to KU, yes, go ahead and enroll your book. It is a 90-day contract. Okay, so say after those 90 days, you're like, you know what? I did not get a single page read on KU. I'm only getting absolute sales. I don't want to be in Kindle Select anymore. You'll come back in here and you'll unenroll. The end of the 90-day period is when you can go wide. Okay. Just because you said at the 60-day mark, whatever, I'm not doing this anymore, and you unenroll, the contract is still good through that 90-day period. Okay. So make sure you mark that on a calendar so you know when you could go wide if you want to. Okay, but I will not be enrolling. Okay, select which territories you have the right to sell this book. I have rights in all territories for this book. If for some reason I were to sell a translation right for this book, and I said, you know what, I'm going to sell the translation rights, so my publisher in Japan has the exclusive right to sell the Japanese translation for this book, that would be awesome. I would actually go down to individual territories and I would limit the ones that I had the rights to. But I own all the worldwide rights, so I'm going to click that here, okay? Chances are, especially if you're a first-time self-publishing author, second-time author, you have the rights to everything in every territory unless you've signed a contract with somebody otherwise. You'll know if you signed a contract, okay? Okay, primary marketplace, I've already filled that out based on Amazon.com. Okay, okay, select the royalty plan. Okay, I've done a whole video on this. So if you are going to price your ebook below $2.99 or above $9.99, you have to pick the 35% royalty rate. Okay. If you are between $2.99 and $9.99, you can pick the 70% royalty rate. There is a limited use case where somebody who's pricing their book between $2.99 and $9.99 might pick the 35%, and that is because they're not going to then have the distribution fee if the file is really big or heavy. I would say if your file for your EPUB is really big or heavy, that is a good time to go to a formatter and say, can you help me compress this file for that purpose? I would think it'd be a lot of ebooks that maybe have graphs and charts or images and things like that. So I'm going to pick the 70%. Thank you. This book is $4.99 for the ebook. Okay, so now it is going to show me all the things here for what my royalty will be under the 70% and the 35%. I'm good with that. It has automatically translated the price from the $4.99 US dollars to all of the other different territories. It is a best practice to go in and look at the price for all the territories and make sure it is in alignment with what is expected. I tend to do all my pricing updates on one day, and I will look at all the books and I'll just do it once. So I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to let it auto convert for me. Okay. All right. And then terms and conditions. It can take up to 72 hours for your title to be available to purchase on Amazon. By clicking publish, I agree. Da da da. Okay, cool. This is the time. This is it, folks. Are you ready? You're going to click the publish your Kindle ebook button with me and you're going to feel good. Now, if I had set a pre-order date, this would say you would still click the publish, but it's going to publish to pre-order or launch your pre-order. Okay. So I'm going to click publish your ebook. We're doing it, folks. Done. Yay. So once you see this, you're excited, take a screenshot, post it to social media. So exciting. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to start my paperback. Because I want to make sure that everything flows through. And what's really nice is instead of going out, creating all brand new paperback and then linking, a lot of the metadata is actually going to flow through. And I really like that. All right, you've seen the ebook. Now we're going to do the paperback. Now, the process for the paperback and the hardcover are exactly the same. I am going to include both here, but just know if you finish the paperback version and you think, okay, I've got this, MK, by all means, you don't have to watch the hardcover as well. It's going to be the same exact thing. I'm going to click Start Your Paperback Now. I'm not going back to the main page. I'm just, yes, Amazon KDP, you know what you're doing. Put me through the correct workflow. Okay, and what's nice, again, my default language shows back up. My book title shows back up. Isn't that so nice? So I don't have to enter this again. I don't have to worry about fat fingering the title and getting a typo in it. It pulls through from the ebook. Isn't that so lovely? Isn't that amazing? Same thing here. If I had put in series information, it would have carried through. I do have to correct the edition number. So you're going to find that a lot of the details are the same for this first page when you go from ebook over to paperback. Author, that's me. No other contributors. Oh my gosh, would you look at that? My description pulled through. Isn't that so wonderful that I don't have to do anything extra? It's already there. It already says, yep, I own the copyright. No, there's no sexually explicit content. So the same questions we were answering on this first page for the ebook pull through. Amazon is the category, or Amazon is the primary marketplace. Now, for categories, that did not pull through because the Kindle store and the bookstore are different. So now I am going to pull this up. So you'll notice that instead of this saying Kindle store, it says books. Now, a lot of the categories are similar between the bookstore and the Kindle store, but they are slightly different. So you want to make sure you are looking at that. Okay. Publishing and books. 2, 3. So for here, the general one is nested under publishing and books. Just go with it. Just go with it, folks. Okay. Save. Okay. And now my keywords already pulled through. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? Okay, now this is something new that we didn't see in the ebook. Publication date. Publication date tells readers when the book was originally published. So for this one, publication date and release date are going to be the same. Okay. If I had previously published this with like another self-publishing company and I was now just adding it to KDP, I would put that in there. I think most people go KDP first. So yeah, okay. Release date. So just like for my ebook, my release date, it's available for sale whenever you approve at Amazon, okay? Up to those 72 hours. This is the sneakiest of sneaky things. Schedule my book's release. So if you remember, a corollary on the ebook page was to schedule your pre-order for your ebook. Okay, so you might be thinking, okay, well, I picked July 1st for my ebook pre-order. I'm going to pick July 1st for my print book pre-order. This is not a pre-order. Okay, this is telling Amazon, even if you approve it in the next 72 hours, don't let people buy the book until July 1st. Okay, the link is not available for purchase. This is not a pre-order. This is a pre-schedule. I do not understand why in the year 2025 we cannot get a print pre-order. KDP, if you're listening, why? Why can't you let people buy it early? You already have the file. You just let us do it. So for that reason, if you are planning to do a print pre-order, I suggest not even uploading the print book. If you're doing that, just save as draft, exit out, and you need to go over to Ingram Spark or another provider that allows you to set a print pre-order that will push the book to Amazon. And then after the book is live, you can upload your Amazon link and that link will supersede the other aggregator one. But if you want to do a print pre-order, Amazon KDP is not going to get you there. Okay. This is super sneaky sneaks, pre-schedule. It's not a pre-order. Make it make sense. Okay. But again, this is a new edition of an existing book. I want it to release whenever it's ready. I'm going to click save and continue. So now we are on the paperback content page. And again, similar to what we saw with the ISBN for the ebook, it's now saying, do you want to use the free KDP ISBN? No way. I'm going to be adding my own. Now this is for the paperback, and I will have a separate ISBN for the hardcover. Print options. Okay. This you cannot change after the book is published. Okay. So do not think, oh, I want to see it with white and then I'll try it with cream. Nope. Once you pick the ink and paper type, it is set. I like to go black and white interior because it's black and white. I don't need any color. And I like it on cream paper. It's a bit less harsh on the eyes, that contrast between the black and the cream versus the black and the white. It's up to you. This book is 5.5 by 8.5 inches. Okay, that is the trim size on the interior. This should be no bleed, but if it is, I can switch it over. Okay, and I like a matte finish. Okay, upload my manuscript. So print interior, very clear. When I exported it from Atticus, I did have to change the um, file name so it would very clearly say print interior. I like to have that. Right. And then here for the book cover, again, you can use the super not awesome cover generator, or I'm going to upload a cover I already have. This was something that I worked with 100 covers on. They made a beautiful file. And when they sent me my files, they very clearly labeled which one was for KDP for paperback, which one's for KDP for hardcover, which one's for Ingram Spark, or so they, again, love working with them. Okay. So as you can see on the preview here, there is a no price barcode. Okay. So with that, I'm going to check yes, my cover has a barcode. Once this is done, okay. So I'm going to click yes. If your cover file does not have a barcode, do not click this. A no price barcode will be applied for you. This is a no price barcode. I have a whole video on should I bring my own barcode? Should I just get the KDP barcode? It's really up to you. If you are planning to do brick and mortar strategy, it is best practice to have a barcode with the price on it. That is one you're going to need to provide your cover designer to add onto the book. Okay. Successfully uploaded that file as well. I don't know if you noticed when I went to upload the cover file, this was still saying upload your manuscript like I hadn't done it. It just took a minute. It just took a beat. Okay. Same thing for the AI generated content. Nope, I did not use it at all. Okay. And then I'm going to launch the previewer. Okay. It did take quite a few minutes for that previewer to upload. So I stopped recording. I hit record again once it's popped up. So as you can see for the print previewer, it looks different than the ebook previewer. It is showing me everything that I need to see for the cover file. Now, because 100 covers did this, I know that it's all within these parameters. I'm happy with it. So I am going to, again, I'm going to click through every page and make sure that it looks correct. It looks accurate. I'm double checking the ISBN. Okay, so I'm going to be going through, again, every single page. I'm the publisher. I am giving my stamp of approval on this to make sure that it looks the way that I want it to. Beautiful. Okay, I've gotten to the end of the book and I'm going to hit approve. Okay, again, quality check. Happy with it. There's no spelling errors. There's nothing else. Takes me back to the content page. All right, so now I can say, yep, that's good to go. And this is where it's going to give me the print cost. It's saying, hey, it's going to cost us $256 to print this book. That should be informing the price strategy. You should already know what price you're going to be charging for the print book before you get here. There is a print calculator that you can use for KDP where it will tell you, hey, based on the trim size and the paperback cover finish and the bleed settings and the ink and paper type and your page count, this is how much it should cost. So you can play around with, okay, but if I charge this amount, what's my royalty? If I charge this amount, what's my royalty? You should already know that this should not be a surprise to you when you get here. You should have already seen this estimate by doing the KDP price calculator. Okay, so I'm good with that. I'm going to click Save and Continue. And again, I'm really happy with both the print interior that I format in Atticus, accepted the first time, love it. Working with 100 covers for my cover files, accepted the first time, love it. Okay, that is the nice thing about paying for these services is that you know it's going to be accepted the first time. All right, territories. So similar to the question that was asked for the ebook, do you own the worldwide rights? Yes. If you have already sold rights for translations or anything like that, then you need to exclude territories, okay? Primary marketplace, Amazon.com. Okay, so here is where I am going to be typing in the price. Okay. And it's going to automatically translate the price for me into different currencies. As you can see, they're all going to be at the 60% royalty rate because none of the books is priced low enough to trigger the 50% royalty rate. I literally just got an email with like the fear mongering of like Amazon slashing royalties. And it's like, well, if your paperback book is priced at less than $9.99, then yes, you saw a 10% reduction in royalties. Please calm down. Please stop the fear mongering. So yes, my print book is still at the 60% royalty. I can see what I make for each of them. I am good with that. So I am going to, yep, could take up to 72 hours. I'm not going to request a proof. I know some authors really like to have the proof copy. So this is where you would order that, right? You would say, hey, I've uploaded everything. I don't want this to publish yet because I want to physically, with my hands, look through the proof and mark it up and make my edits. And then I can use the pretty proof for some marketing. You can do that. A lot of authors like to do that. The thing I don't love about the proof copies is that there's a big gray stripe that goes around the cover that says proof copy, not for resale. So when you take photos with it, for marketing, it says proof copy, not for resale. I don't love that. I'd rather have an author copy that's a true, like, finished copy. So if you want to request a proof, though, this is where you would do it. Okay, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to click publish your paperback book. Save successful. Yay, confetti, excitement. We're doing the thing. Now, you notice when I did the ebook, afterwards it said, okay, would you like to do the hardcover? It's not giving me that option here. So I'm going to click done. I'm going to come down here, okay, because it says publishing, in review. Now I'm going to click create hardcover, okay? I want all 3 versions linked here. And again, because I clicked create hardcover, I didn't go to a separate create and then try to link them. Look, things are flowing through. It's so nice. Even the edition number flowed through. The description flowed through. My primary audience age flowed through. My categories flowed through because it pulled from the paperback. My keywords pulled through. Isn't this amazing? This is awesome. Okay, save and continue. I don't have to do as much because it's already saved in there. Okay. And again, I do copy and paste the ISBNs. I don't want to fat finger it. I don't want to mess it up. I know if I copy paste, it is correct and it will be accepted. Okay. Cream. So the only thing that didn't flow through were the print options. So I'm going again and saying black and white interior with cream. 5.5 by 8.5. No bleed. Matte. Love it. Okay. It is the same print interior file. That is why they both have the same dimensions. There are only a handful of sizes that are available in both paperback and hardcover. So that's why now I'm at the 5.5 by 8.5. When I first published these guides, I chose a much smaller trim size. And then when I went to go do a hardcover, I realized I'd have to completely reformat the interior because that size wasn't available for the hardcover. So now they're all going to be the same size. They're going to be pretty and uniform. I like that. Okay, same thing. Really great working with 100 covers. They labeled it for me. They're the best. Okay. And again, the no price barcode on there. So I'm going to say, yes, my cover has a barcode. Thank you so much. I'm going to give that a minute for it to show and preview. I'm going to say no AI generated. If you have to upload again, it's going to say you changed your file. Are you sure there's still no AI? So I'm just doing that. Okay, launch the preview. Will it take as long as last time? So one kind of best practice I do like to share. I am on the East Coast of the United States. I have noticed that if I upload my books in the morning hours on the East Coast on a weekday, it is much faster than when I upload on a weekend or when I upload in the afternoon. I think it's just because there's fewer people online trying to upload. In general, like a lot of self-publishing authors, we have day jobs. So a lot of us are uploading on the weekends or after we get home from work. So I do suggest that. I think there was the last time I did this video, I actually uploaded on Christmas Eve or like Christmas Day because that was the day my husband could watch my daughter and I knew nobody was going to be online uploading to KDP. And it was great. It was a Christmas gift to myself that I didn't have any headaches or didn't have to throw my computer because it was all good to go. Okay. Same thing. Even though it's the same print interior, even though I know that 100 covers got it right, I'm still going to click through every page to make sure it is what it needs to be. I am the publisher. It is my name on it. Make sure it's right. Okay. So I went through the previewer. I approved. Okay. As you can see, the hardcover is a lot more costly to produce. But I'm going to hit save and continue. I make a lot less on the hardcover options. And when I first started publishing, I was like, why would anybody want to spend more on a hardcover? And I didn't have them. And then once I added them, I was like, oh, some people do want the hardcover. They are more durable. So I'm going to offer it. Okay. Same thing. I own for all territories. Okay. Amazon.com and okay. All right. Same as before. I could request the proof. I'm not going to and publish. Boom. That's it, folks. That's it. So now I am going to wait for the yay, your book is live email from Kindle Direct Publishing. And that is where I will pick up on the second edition. So if you are doing the first and only edition of your book so far, congratulations. Your book is uploaded with KDP. You will get an email from them that says, congratulations, it's live. So you can have the link, you can check it. I hope that's the case for you soon. Again, it can take up to 72 hours. Right now, I am going to record my Ingram Spark upload tutorial while I wait for this because step 2 of the second editions checklist will involve me coming back in here and doing a few technical items. So I will see you I'll record that tomorrow when I get the emails, but for you, it's going to be in the next 2 seconds. Okay. This is a first edition book, you are done. You're just waiting that 72 hours or up to 72 hours. It could be sooner to see if your book is approved. Best of luck with your book. You can check out all of my other videos for getting everything else done. If this is a second edition or third edition or fourth edition of your book and you want to see how I do that, stay tuned. Okay, folks. So today we are doing the next part of setting up a second edition on KDP. If your book is a first edition, congratulations, you're done. You don't have to do any of this. So I am scrolling down. As you can see on my bookshelf, book marketing is taken care of. Going wide, how to write a first novel. But we started with self-publishing for the first-time authors, so that's what we're doing here. So as you can see, the Kindle ebook, the paperback, and the hardcover, they're all live. They're all approved. I uploaded this on June 19th. It's now June 21st. I got this email late last night, but I was not going to do this late on a Friday evening. So to Saturday morning. So now that this version is live, what I need to do is I need to go and unlist the original version. Okay. Okay. Now, as you can see when I scrolled up from the bottom, this is the one that says live, right? This is the old cover. There's another version of this cover that's down here. That is because that was the first edition. We are on to the third edition. So I need to unlist the second edition, right? And this is where it's really important for you when you're doing multiple editions to pay attention to the status of the books, right? Because you're going to see first edition of book marketing even says, oh, draft. Okay. So the one that is currently live, I am going to unlist. I'm going to unpublish. That is the official one that you're looking for is unpublish. Yes, I understand it is unpublished. It is important to unpublish, but not archive. That's going to be annoying if it makes me go back every time. And it is. Okay, so we can see draft, unpublish, unpublish. Okay. Okay. So now all 3 versions of the second edition have been unpublished, right? It's very important to unpublish and archive because I need the ASIN and I need that for this next part here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to help. I'm actually going to open it in a new tab. Okay. I'm going to scroll down to contact us. I already know I need to send an email. So as you can see here, I manage, update, and order books. All right, I'm managing the books. All right, book details and updates. So remove or unpublished book, republish and update a book. So I'm going to click on this one and it's going to tell me what I can do. I already know how to unpublish the book. I've already unpublished it. What I want to do is I want to contact them and I want to send an email. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to copy and paste the email that I've sent before. Now, I sent this email yesterday for the book marketing edition. Um, this is the same email that I copy and pasted from when I did the second edition several years ago. So this is exactly what I'm going to be saying. All right, so I published a new edition of my book, self-publishing. For the first time author, I've added new content, removed outdated information in both digital and print copies, and I updated the cover design. The third editions have new ISBNs. I've added the new version and published the old version. Can you please link the new edition so that the previous reviews are carried over? Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going back to all these ASINs for the second edition, and I need to copy those. And I've made it really clear in my email. Second edition, unpublished ASINs. I don't want to messing those up. All right, and I'm copy and pasting these ASINs. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the first page of my bookshelf because when you do multiple editions, you start getting multiple pages on your bookshelf. And I'm going to copy and paste the new ASINs and say, this is where it needs to be linked. Okay, so, and you notice I'm doing it in the same order: ebook, paperback, hardcover. And down here, I'll do ebook, paperback, hardcover. Now, what's going to happen is once these are linked, yesterday when I did this for book marketing, I would say within 20 minutes, I had an email back from Amazon saying, yeah, no problem. They're linked. It'll take a couple bit for it to show over. So what I'm going to do, okay, so all my ASNs are updated. Thank you very much for your help. All right, I'm going to click send on this message. So I'm going to show you the message that I got yesterday. So I sent that yesterday very early. And by 8:30, I would say within 15 to 20 minutes of sending it, they said, yep, I can take up to 7 days to take effect. Once it takes effect, that is when I will go into ACX and update the audio files, because once they're linked, I do not need to claim the new book. The new editions are linked. And that is the thing that I like about that, not having to go back in and claim it. Okay, so now I am going to go do this for all the other books, and I am going to do everything I need to for Ingram Spark. So stay tuned for that one. And that's how you do it, folks. Congratulations. Your book is published. Awesome. Now, what I have for you is I have lots of other tutorials for what you can do to keep optimizing your Amazon platform. I have tutorials on how to upload to other platforms. I have cache of videos going back to 2018 of everything related to self-publishing that you can check out in all the links. Best of luck. Let me know what else you want to see from me on this channel. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, or maybe even hit that thank you button. That tells YouTube you got value from this information, and then they can get it in front of other authors like us. Now you can get back to writing your book.